Hey everybody, sorry about that. I was having some technical difficulties. Okay, I'm glad I got past that. Hey everybody, my name is Sherri, and I have been thinking about manifestation for a few days, and I really wanted to talk about that with everyone today. The power to manifest and why people have a lot of difficulties doing that. The way I come up with these broadcasts that I do are not done randomly. Any of the ones that I've done previously, any videos that I make have always been topics that I can't stop thinking about, and generally my guides will give me some indication that I need to talk about certain things. And if I delay, then they poke at me until I do it. And so manifestation has been a big one. And for days and days, they've been trying to get me to talk to people about it, because I think there are a lot of misconceptions about how to manifest and troubleshooting with that, and our power to do that. And so this morning I channeled a message. I work with archangels. I also have my own spirit guides. I tend to work with Archangel Michael the most, but I work with a collection of them that come and go depending on the messages that are needed for me to download and also to give to others. So I downloaded a message. Those of you that saw my 144,000 message last week, I got another one. And I don't typically like to read things to people, but the message is so much harder to relay if I don't relay it exactly word for word. So I'm going to read you a very important message that the archangels had for all of our viewers today. And please share this with your friends that are open to it, that this message may resonate with, because I feel like it's an important one. And then after the message, I'll get more into the steps of manifesting. I'd like to talk about the shadow self. I'd like to talk about the subconscious versus the conscious mind, and then the collective consciousness, because that's what this channel is all about, and how each one of us can affect the timeline that we're in. So I wanted to give an opportunity for some people to sign on, and there we have a few. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading. If any of you join in the middle of me reading the message from the archangels, then you can just rewind it and start over, so it won't be live, or you can finish it later. So again, this is the message from the archangels, and it has to do with kind of where we are in humanity right now and our power to manifest, but also the reason why we're having difficulty with it right now is because we have to work on self-love and self-care and forgiveness. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Hold on one second. Let me just get this. Okay, so I'll try to read slowly. It is important right now for humanity to see through the illusion of this reality. Each and every one of you have limitless power to attract abundance and happiness. So many are trapped in the belief that they are not good enough, or that you don't deserve to be happy. Where did this begin to infiltrate your life? Whether you gave your power away or it was taken from you, it is time to take it back. We can show you how, but we cannot take the steps for you. We can guide you, yet we cannot bend your will. The power to manifest the life you want comes from within. No one can provide that to you, nor can they take it away unless you allow it. All you have to do to be free is to stand in your power. Stand in front of the mirror, see your reflection, and forgive yourself. Love yourself. Free yourself. It is more important now than ever before. As the archangels, ascended masters, and God and many others help the earth transcend darkness, the light will shine through, providing you the opportunity to be free. It's time to free your spirit. As this paradigm breaks down, as humanity ascends and awakens, we will transition into a higher awareness. This is happening now. But only those that are ready to rise will be able to do so. Forgive the shadow side, the part of you that has fallen trapped to deceit. It's time to break free. We are here to guide and protect you. Only you can take the first step. If you have taken that first step, then take another until your feet stop moving forward. As the broken pieces of you fall, as you walk, feel yourself becoming free. No one shall be turned away from the light. We stand beside you, behind you, and in front, encouraging each and every one of you that you are enough. You are enough. No more punishment. No longer allow others to manipulate you. Stand strong. Stand in your power. And allow your light to shine. And you will never look back. Okay, so that's the whole entire channeled message that I got earlier this morning. And I really want to break it down to you very specifically, because I want to talk about the shadow side first, because I don't know, I feel as though there are a lot of people that don't understand what the shadow side is, or perhaps they don't think that they have one. And I want to relay the message that everybody absolutely has a shadow side. It doesn't matter who you are. We all have one. That's just part of being a human being. So when we come into this earth and we merge with a human body, although our soul is of a high frequency and a higher awareness, when we merge into the physical body, there's a part of ourself, there's an aspect, a human aspect of ourself that carries forward the ability to have a shadow side of ourself that is vulnerable to, not vulnerable, but it's a part of us that really experience. And because we're in such a low density that most of us have been trapped in for, thousands of years, many of our shadow sides have taken over us. And the way that our shadow side is taken over is by being in a low vibrational environment, being around low vibrational people, eating low vibrational food, by being manipulated, by having trauma, by having anxiety. So think about it. I talk about this in my book. There's a whole chapter. And the example that I use is, I think about a child. So when a child's born, they have a shadow side, right? But it all depends on their experiences and how they're raised. So let's say this child is in an abusive family and is both mentally and physically abused. So that child's shadow side, think about it like a pie graph. When you're in elementary school and you're learning about graphs and you use the pie chart. Think about that shadow side as a child being probably 99% light, and then there's just like that 1% shadow part of you. I don't even know how to describe this with my hands, but the experiences that you have can make that sliver of that shadow self become a bigger component. So like if a child is abused, slowly and they don't have anybody, any outlet, any support, they don't have anybody they can't go anywhere, they can't say anything, they become in a low vibrational energetic field and a shell of themselves, and that shadow side begins to take over. And as they grow, and let's say they grow up into be a young adult, and they've never had love, they've never experienced joy, they don't feel secure, they don't feel supported in life, and so they grow up and then they treat other people the way they have been treated their whole life because that's the only thing that they know. So their shadow side begins to take control of them. And when they grow up to be an adult, and there are likely going to be abusive people to their spouses or their children if they have them, or to animals, or to just people in general. And so those people have their shadow side is taken over. And when your shadow side is taken over, you're more vulnerable to darker entities, darker energy, and that's the type of lifestyle that you attract. Those types of people, those types of experiences. That's what you attract in your life, because your shadow side is so much vastly a part of you. So most of us experience a good amount of trauma or some sort of experience in their life. That's just how it goes. Just with the reality of this third dimensional or this third density that we're in. But so some of us struggle with the shadow side our whole life. That's that part of us that there's the good side and the bad side, and it convinces you, oh, you don't need to go to class today. We'll just skip it and do other things, and it perpetuates that third density kind of mentality. And so when we're talking about manifesting, why is this important? So when we're talking about manifesting, we're limited to what we're able to manifest based on our shadow side and how much of it is controlling us. Because if our shadow side is controlling us, then we are limited to what we're able to manifest. And so we need to work on self-love and self-forgiveness. And that is literally step one of manifesting. We have to learn to forgive ourselves for even things that aren't our fault necessarily growing up. But the fact that, maybe we were abused, it's not our fault, but we're mad at ourselves that we weren't strong enough, that we didn't say anything, that we didn't fight back. Whatever the case may be, there is that component of you feeling not good enough, or you don't deserve happiness or joy. You kind of sucked into that low vibrational field of existence. So it's really hard to manifest, because when you can only manifest, and I've said this like a broken record, I think, and so I apologize for repeating myself, but it's really difficult. I won't say it's not possible, but it's very difficult to manifest outside of your vibration. So you're limited to manifesting what resonates with your own frequency. So if your frequency is low and you're in that kind of fear-based mentality or vibration, and you try to manifest joy, it's really hard to do that. So you have to first work on yourself and raise your own vibration in a different way. And the way to do that is through self-love, self-forgiveness, self-care. First, you have to do that first before forgiving others, because we can't really truly forgive others until we forgive ourselves. So self-love and the self-healing journey, it can be quite profound for some people, and also very overwhelming. And so it requires a lot of patience, in order to continue on and not get frustrated. When you manifest, so I want to talk about manifesting, what you're manifesting, and how you're manifesting. So the problem with manifesting and where people get hung up, if you think about the law of attraction, is basically the same thing. So we're putting out into the universe what we want. Manifesting is pretty much the same thing. So let's talk about the law of attraction. So if we are saying that consciously that I want this, I want money, I want a positive relationship, I want children. If your conscious mind is saying I want that, but your subconscious mind is also combating that by saying I don't deserve that, then there's a conflict there. So you may want something, but if your subconscious, how you feel is that you don't really deserve it, or you don't believe that you can have it, then there is a direct conflict there between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. I refer in my book to the conscious mind as the nemesis and the subconscious as your friend. So we need to be more friendly with our subconscious and tap into that awareness, and not allow our conscious mind to contradict or prevent us from manifesting what we truly want. The problem is that deep down inside, if we don't feel like we deserve it, or we don't, for whatever reason, don't think that we can get it, even though we're asking for it, then we won't. And then that's why people who try to manifest things and it doesn't work, that's one of the biggest reasons why, because what they want does not match how they feel. And so how we feel first, and our emotional well-being, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about how we treat ourselves, how we treat other people, and what we attract in our life. And so part of that process is life changing, because you have to clear people out of your life that don't match your resonance, that don't perpetuate that vibration you're in. So if you're around a lot of negative people, you have a hard decision to make whether or not to continue being friends with them. Now, if they're family members or people that you can't just get rid of, then you have to try to create boundaries around yourself so that you're not directly affected by their frequency or their vibration, because you can't necessarily walk out of their life, but you can limit the effect that they have on you. And that's probably a whole nother video that I'd have to do, because there are a lot of things. It is simple, but there are a lot of steps involved with that. And so while you are trying to manifest what it is that you desire, think about things in your life that are keeping you in a lower frequency or a lot lower vibration. So like people I talked about, the types of shows you watch. So we've talked about the news a bunch of times. So I think most people get the fact that, watching news that is simply just a form of hypnosis, and has a lot of negative connotations to it, and is designed to manipulate the mass. Right. And most oftentimes, if not all, there isn't any truth to it. So I think that most people agree that taking the news out of their routine is makes sense. But then there are other aspects, like what type of movies are you watching? What type of TV do you watch? What type of music do you listen to? So yeah, and what kind of food are you eating? All of that plays a factor in whether or not you're able to attract a different vibration. Because if your whole life is surrounded by a low vibration and you've worked on yourself and you're trying to manifest out of that, it might be more difficult for you because you are trapped in that environment. And that has a huge effect. There are two things that affect our frequency. There are ourselves and environmental influences. I talk about that in the book as well. So we can control our own emotions and our own vibration, but we cannot always control the environment that we're in. And so we have to take steps to shift the environment that we're in. And that sometimes takes a lot of courage, and a lot of difficult choices are involved in that. And so it requires patience. But the reason why I'm even talking about this right now, and why am I wasting anybody's time watching this video? And the reason for that is because what the message that the archangels had or have for everybody is so important right now, because we really are in a transition in humanity, and we really are going into a higher density. And it really, truly is our choice, number one, if we want to go to a higher density, but it also is our choice on the timing of the transition. So we talk about timelines a lot in these videos, in these interviews, and podcasts. People are always talking about timelines. Although I still truly believe that although I don't know between now and let's say months from now what's going to happen specifically, I don't think anybody really does know, because there's so many moving parts and elements that are changing. What I do know and what I focus on is the positive aspect or the positive outcome that I know is coming. What players are involved, how that works out. I don't focus on the specifics of that, because I don't think that anybody really knows what they are. So what I really want to encourage, and the entire message for today's video, is to try to get people to focus on healing themselves, forgiving themselves, and loving themselves. And then shifting their environment when they can to raise their frequency by attracting or creating the environment that will attract that frequency. And then what we can manifest, or what we can work on, is manifesting a timeline that gets us to what is of the highest good of humanity faster. So even though we don't know exactly what that is, our visualization and our intention is so powerful individually. So think about it collectively. If all of the people who are of the light, who are awake, who are ready, all band together and focus not on the negativity, because I think people, what they don't recognize is that if they watch the news, and although they want a positive outcome, They have good intentions, but let's say they watch the news every night and they allow the things that they see on the news to bring them down and give them doubt or frustration or anger, then what happens is their individual vibration now matches that fear, negative vibration. And the more of us that have that fear vibration or that thought, it brings it doesn't bring the timeline down. That's not what I'm trying to say. It slows the timeline down, because I believe the light is already won and everything has to just play out in the physical realm. But because there is no such thing as time and space, this is a construct of our reality. There's no such thing as time. There is a such thing as space. What I meant to say is there's no such thing as time. So the faster in our time in this reality that we can get from point A to point B absolutely can change and shift faster, more quickly. Because again, the time is an illusion. But if we're all focusing, imagine millions of people are focusing on a positive outcome more quickly. They don't even have to be focusing on a time. If you take the time element out of it altogether, it really doesn't matter. But if masses of people are setting their intention and visualizing that our world shifts into the highest good of humanity, where there's peace, there's love, there's abundance, and only focus on the positive. Don't think about the details. Don't think about any negative aspects, just high vibrational states of being. If everybody focuses on that, or a majority of people focus on that, the time element will work itself out, because the more of us doing it will propel us in the timeline faster, because we're focusing on it and our intention is clear, and it's so powerful. But I don't think that a lot of people believe that them individually can really affect humanity that much. And that's just not the case. It's absolutely, because you're either affecting humanity in two ways, in a positive way, or you're contributing to the negative. So, and I'm talking about those people who truly believe that, okay, well, Sherri's saying everything is fine in the end. I'll just sit on my couch and, watch Netflix. I don't have a job, so I'll just kind of chill and wait for everything to happen. And the problem with that is that you're slowing the timeline down, because you're not contributing to the higher frequency, that higher vibration, that higher intention of getting us to the end game. And so by doing nothing, you're actually holding us back. So and then those that are of the lower frequency of fear and anger and worry, a lot of people, I think more people are worried right now than really anything else, because I feel like the anger has shifted to worry. I feel that very strongly, and it makes sense to me. But the problem with that is that they align in the same frequency. They're both low. So whether you're angry or worried, they're really very similar. And so that's holding the timeline back. So we have to shift and stop watching the news, eat healthier foods, focus inward, work on ourselves, work on tapping into our higher awareness, work on forgiveness, all of those things. So if we focus on ourselves, healing ourselves, and then focusing more broadly with the intention of humanity healing and shifting into a higher awareness, into the fifth density, where everybody is, where we we'll keep the ridding negativity off the planet. Let's focus only on the positive. But the idea is that the more of us that are doing that and focusing on love on a larger scale, peace on a larger scale, happiness on a larger scale, visualize things that make you happy. Children running free outside in parks with laughter, without any masks on. Writing checks to pay your bills with no worry. You have the adults outside, back in restaurants, sitting outside, enjoying their time together, walking in the park, animals flourishing. Those are things that you can visualize, because they're not too specific. It's not going to shift the timeline in any way, but it's very positive. So that's one way you can visualize. But I think that it's really important right now that people recognize that we can all contribute to this. So even though we're on the sidelines, so to speak, we're not in the front line actually doing anything with politically with all of the stuff that's happening behind the scenes and out in the public eye, we can still shift and we can still change in our personal power is so important, and we need to value that, and we need to focus on that. And so that's the message that I have today. Sorry if it was long-winded. I encourage you to listen to the archangel message again if you didn't hear it from the beginning and you tuned in a little bit late. Rewind it, listen to it a few times. The words are very powerful. The statement and the message is very powerful, but it's so simple. And I really feel like if all of us shift our awareness, shift our thinking, shift our focus to and also all the while healing ourselves and reestablishing a relationship with ourself that's new, that really is healing and taking out all of the aspects of our lives up until this point that has caused us not to love ourselves or to not think that we are good enough or that we deserve happiness, or whomever has stolen our power at some point in our life. It's time now for us to like seriously stand up, pull your sleeves back, get to work, and recognize that no one can steal your power anymore. Like the time is up for that, but you have to be ready and willing to do the work, and absolutely the universe will respond to that. And for those, unfortunately, that are allowing their power to be stolen and are too afraid to move forward, they are complacent in that vibration that they're in. They're going to remain in the third density a lot longer, and they're going to hold the timeline down, or hold the time frame down. And so and we can't do anything about that. We can try, we can influence them in positive ways. Hope they'll watch these videos that we're putting out, or hope that they have their own epiphanies in some way, shape, or form that will wake them up. But until then, we just can work on ourselves, because that's the only thing that we can really change right now, is ourself and not others, as much as we want to. And so that's the message today. I hope that you guys got something out of it. Please share this with your friends and family who you think would be willing to, who would be open to this message. Because I think that the archangels are supporting all of us, whether we recognize it or feel them or even believe. You know, those are the people that don't believe in archangels. They still have them. Their angels are around them all the time, whether they want them there or not. They're still free will, so they won't intervene in their life, but they're still around. They're around each and every one of us. We all have them. We all share them. As far as the archangels go, Archangel Michael can be with me and also thousands of people at the same time, millions of people at the same time. So I'm not unique and special in the fact that I'm able to communicate with them, because I think anybody truly can. It's all about our awareness and our ability to think that we're good enough, or that we have the ability to do that. Hey, Carrie. Hey, Suzanne. It's nice to see you guys. All right. Well, that's all for today. I think I'm done rambling. Shoot me an email if you have any questions, or you can visit my website, intuitivewellnesscenter.com, the children's website, divinelyguidedchildren.com. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I have, I'm sorry, is it tomorrow? Wednesday, I have an interview with Janine. And so until then, I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy your day. Bye, everybody.